Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nerds with Friends with a new intro song.
I did all that.
Yeah.
All the instruments was me.
Yeah, Christian did
At
all
the
of
same time.
it. At the same time,
It's
you just
very-
got one of those things where you like the band, one-man band with the drum on your back,
Yep.
and you're like, yeah, cymbals on your knees. Welcome to the program, everyone. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, especially on YouTube. We get a lot of interaction on there, which is awesome. We enjoy seeing, hearing, and reading all of that. Of course, you can check out nerdsfriendspodcast.com for all the info on our social medias, Instagram, Twitters, TikToks, YouTubes, etc. And coming very soon, Christian, Patreon.
Nice. Actually, Cody just read me the stuff on there. It's pretty dope. You guys should donate.
Yeah, we'll do a quick little intro. So we are signing up for a Patreon again. We had one briefly, and thank you very much for all the patrons who previously donated to that one many years ago. We fell off of it because we didn't like Patreon's like model, how they how they made us like ask for payments and stuff like that, like per episode rather than per month.
Plus, we were making way too much money. Ungodly.
Yeah, like the taxes alone.
Yeah,
were
it was
insane.
fucking us up.
Yeah. So we, but they have updated now. Obviously, podcasters are a big part of Patreon, so they've definitely improved it quite a bit, and so we are excited to be back on there. So you can check us out at patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. By the time this episode is up, by the time this episode is up, all of our info will be up there and updated. So check it out. Just a brief overview of some of the tiers. I think a lot of people will enjoy them.
My favorite one is where we're giving out nudes.
Yeah,
That's a good
exactly.
one.
Just dick shots. Dicks and assholes. It's in Polaroid
Yes.
form, yeah. So the first is $1 a month. You basically get your name added to the credits at the end of each and every show, which we're going to start doing on YouTube. And then for $2 a month, you get not only that, but you also get access to our Discord server that we're going to create, which you can basically text and chat with us. And then every once a month, we are going to have a live video chat stream on Discord where you can come hang out with us. It'll probably be different days every month to try to give everyone a chance to do it. This is all kind of in the planning phase, but $2 a month gets you that. $5 a month, you actually get a nerdy confession read on the show by one of us. And, every month that you're a subscriber to that tier, you can send them in and we will read them out for you. Because we do like hearing your guys' nerdy confessions, of course. $10 a month. This one's a little bit pricier, but for this one, you actually get to create a topic for our episode, and we will do an episode on that topic.
The weirder, the better.
The weirder, the better. Obviously, we can kind of veto something if it's inappropriate or whatever, but you've heard this show. Nothing's really
Yeah.
inappropriate.
The weird ones or the vetoed ones go first.
Yeah, exactly. Those ones are rise to the top. $50 an episode. This one's getting pretty crazy. We are actually going to, you get for $50 a month, you get all of the previous ones. So you still get to, give us an episode idea. And you get your nerdy confession read, but you also get a custom painted mini by me, which, will work with you to try to get one that you like and that's close to what you want. Obviously I'm doing all the work though. So like I'm going to make some artistic license on it, but we will get as close as we can to what you want. And then, or if you don't want a mini for some reason, you can also get a awesome sketch by Christian. Christian is
I should put some of my stuff up.
yeah, you should. You should post it on the Instagrams because Christian, a lot of people may not know, went to school for art.
Yeah.
He was an art school kid. So either way, you get your choice of one of those. And if you do it for multiple months, we will paint you multiple minis or multiple sketches. So that could be a tier that may not last very long, well, depending on how many people actually do it. And this one's the craziest. This is the ultimate tier. $100, and we don't expect you to do $100 a month, but you totally could if you're rich. But for $100, you can actually be a guest on this show. If you're local to the San Francisco Bay Area, we can have you actually come in here live and chat with us, and we'll do a podcast with you on a topic you want. If not, if you're not local, which I'm sure most people are, and of course with COVID and everything, we're doing a lot more stuff virtually. We can totally have you zoomed in as we've done previous guests on the show. So
I want one of our Irish listeners to do it.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Just because they curse, their level of cursing is just beyond ours.
100%.
It's just
Yeah, so good. So yeah, excited to launch that stuff. Again, Nerds with Friends podcast. I'm sorry, patreon.com/Nerds with Friends. But there will be a link on nerdswithfriendspodcast.com as well. Very exciting. We already appreciate all of your support. We're just asking you to monetize it.
just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Keith?
It does help support the show. Buying new microphones, mixers.
I need a haircut. Look at this
computers,
shit.
Fucking haircut. I'd like to get a makeup girl. That'd
Yeah.
be nice. Just always so shiny on the
Yeah,
YouTube.
or if we had like a production assistant who could do, so you don't have to man the little fucking.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't have to press all the freaking buttons on the phone and look down every once in a while like, oh, Cody's talking. Oh, no, Christian's talking. Yeah. So hope you guys enjoy those. Hope you guys take advantage. I'm excited to do the Discord server to talk to you guys quickly. Of course, you can always reach us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. But Discord will be nice where everyone can kind of talk to each other. It'll be super, super fun. All right, Christian. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes and do some nerdy confessions, where we confess the things that make us nerds. Perhaps the last nerdy confessions where there's no other people's nerdy confessions.
Maybe.
That's kind of cool. My nerdy confession is kind of lame, but it kind of shows you where I'm at in my life right now with COVID and everything. So recently, I've been painting minis like nonstop because, stuck at home most of the time. Can't go out to restaurants. I actually have a little mini.
These are
right
actually
here.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So here's a little.
I mean, we're not going to be able to get a good close up.
Yeah,
but
there won't be a good close up, but I'll put one in there. But I'm doing a lot of Warhammer 40K miniatures, and so you start. I've been doing it long enough where I'm starting to run out of certain supplies that I started off with. Paints don't last forever. So the other day I went to Game Castle, which is an excellent gaming store.
Free shout out.
Yeah, if you're in the Bay Area, check them out. Locations in, I think, Livermore, San Jose, Santa Clara, and Redwood City. And so I went there and just shopping around. I needed a black primer, to prime the minis before you paint them. And then I ended up getting some new super glue too. That's like not super watery, so it's like jellier, so it doesn't fucking get all over your fingers every single time. And when I got home, like I tried them both out, and the primer, like this is a weird nerdy confession, but it's the best primer I've ever used.
Nice.
It's amazing. Like the spray is so good, the coverage is amazing. It comes out looking like it was like, I don't know, like professionally like molded in that color.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's made by Citadel Games Workshop. And then the super glue is very nice as well. Like I said, I don't have a bunch of super glue caked up on my fingers like I normally do every single week from trying to like hold two pieces of a tiny little sword together or something.
You don't use like tweezers? You just go
I do on certain stuff, but one thing with tweezers, with super glue, is sometimes you super glue your tweezers together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just one thing or the other. But this stuff, because it's gel, you can put a little like bloop on it, and it doesn't like run down the sides all onto your finger, and doesn't spread all over the place.
The fact that you do this to relax, like hearing you say it stresses me out. I would not be able
I'm
to
excited to go home and build some more. I'm building my army. I'm building my Indomitus army of Raven Guard, Space Marines, and Necron warriors. I'm very excited. But yeah, that's where my life is. I'm super excited about primers and super glues.
We're gonna have to find you a girl that also paints minis.
Yeah, I know. Who else am I gonna explain? Like, I'll be back in like 3 hours covered in paint.
Yeah. Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me. What's your nerdy confession, Christian?
I'm mad at you people and myself for not telling me how good the strain is. I just started it. It's so good. I'm a little upset that it stops at season 4 because I'm guessing, hopefully no one ruins for it, it's not finished. but it's starting off really strong.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it fucking gets picked up again. I'm gonna have to start one of those Daredevil Snyder cut, fucking movements to get more.
Release the strain. Probably
Release-
not a good thing to hashtag during
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
pandemic.
But it's so good. I don't want to give anything away.
That's Guillermo del Toro.
Yes,
Some vampire type monsters.
I didn't know it was his graphic novel. It was his graphic novel, and then he got into a show. He did the first episode. What's a little weird is the guy. Remember the villain in the first Ant-Man? He was also in House of Cards.
Yes.
So he's one
I
of the.
forget his name.
I know, great actor.
Corey something.
Well, forgive us, Corey, if you're listening. So he's in it,
Corey Strauss?
but
Might be Corey Strauss.
he has hair.
Yeah, like
What-
really bad looking hair.
Well, like, and my TV is so good. I'm like, oh, dude, I see where they glued it, like
Yeah.
on his forehead.
yeah.
And it's like, and at first I'm like, is that the guy from Ant-Man? I was like, no, but he definitely have hair. And then I saw that mark. I was like, dude, just leave him bald. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like people can be bald.
yeah, like
you know?
it's okay. Like,
Like I get it. Maybe in the comic book he was, he had a luscious, head of hair, but
Yeah.
unless it's like integral to the story that
Yeah,
he
like-
someday loses it,
he's great. And then I remember the actor, the Red Wedding, the Crazy King.
Yeah. I don't know his name, but Walter Frey from
Yeah,
Game
he
of
was
Thrones.
also in Harry Potter. He was the weird cat guy.
Yeah. What was his name in Harry Potter?
Someone's gonna be-
Grimes or something like
Some
that.
Harry Potter fan is gonna be pissed off at us.
Yeah.
But he's in it and he plays a good guy, which is fucking.
I
awesome.
know. Yeah, he's Corey Stoll, Stoll, and then David Bradley is Professor Abraham Satrakian.
Which is crazy because like there's a part where like he grabs a guy and he's like supposed to be strong. I'm like, oh shit, I kind of believe that this dude can whoop someone's ass.
Yeah.
But he's always playing parts where he's like weak or frail, and I'm like, dude, this guy's a great actor.
Have you met this guy yet? I liked him in the
He's
show.
great too.
Kevin Sergey Durand.
He's also from Legion, is what I always remember, and one of the X-Men movies where he was
Yeah.
the Blob. He's great too.
Yeah,
It's a really good show. It's got a lot of great actors. I'm really pissed off that I don't know. Maybe
Also-
it finishes at 4.
Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah, he's in there.
Sean Astin.
He's also a big badass. No, I'm just kidding. He's a doctor.
Doctors can be badass. Natalie Brown, I know her from something. Yeah, I remember I watched, I think, the first season or two, and I was really into it. I really enjoyed it. And then, I just kind of fell off of it just because, like, live
like me
TV.
in Star Trek, which I get shat on.
Yeah.
But-
Well, and show's been out for 30 years.
Yeah, I got time.
More if you do the original series. No excuse. You should have found time. Yeah, with live TV, the thing that I always find is that, it's one of those things where like I watch it on Hulu and I'm like, ooh, I really like this. But then, after I'm done watching it, it's like, oh, well, the next season hasn't even aired on TV yet. So that means, it might not come out on Hulu until after that.
Yeah.
Or if it comes out on Netflix like a year later or whatever. So, unfortunately, like,
Also, I do want to say Hulu, you're fucking up on one part. Like, I did the package deal of Disney Plus with Hulu, but it has the commercials in it. And I'm like, all right, I'm willing to pay an extra $5 to get rid of the commercials.
but you can't.
You can't. You can't
Yeah.
upgrade with that package. Like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I know. I looked into that because I was like, I already pay for Hulu with no commercials, and I have Disney Plus, and like ESPN actually sounded kind of cool too because I think you can
Yeah.
package that.
I don't have that
Oops.
shit.
You can package that together too, and yeah, you can't do the no commercials, and especially like Hulu. I primarily watch anime, and it's like I can't watch anime with commercials in it. It's too crazy. Japanese people just like all their lives is watching commercials, and I can't hang.
Also, I want to watch Resident Alien with
Yes.
Alan Tudyk,
Yeah, it
but
looks
you
really
can't.
good.
But you need the super expensive Hulu to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get sci-fi just for that show. And I know it's gonna be good because it's Alan Tudyk. And he's
Oh, and the
amazing.
premise sounds amazing. He's like an alien trapped in a human's body, and he's living in a small town undercover, but solving murderers.
So what
as
it is-
as a CSI doctor.
He came here to destroy the planet, but his ship got fucked up, and the device to destroy the planet got busted.
Oh,
so he's
awesome.
really trying to fix all that shit to fuck up Earth.
Yeah, that's great.
And I
he's-
can't watch it.
Yeah, I know. We'll torrent it from a Russian site or something.
There we go.
That's the way to do it. Oh, speaking of torrenting, or Russian sites, I should say. I found all of the rules for Warhammer 40K on a Russian site.
What'd I say?
Where
I told you online. I'm sure it's somewhere.
Yeah, I did. After a little, it was a quick Google. I should have believed you. But yeah, you can specifically select what character you want the stats for, and it'll pull it up. And it's like in the same font as the book and everything. It's amazing.
Thank you, Mother Russia.
Thank you, Mother Russia. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about some nerdy things that we don't know shit about. We'll be right back. And we're back. Christian, I don't know everything about every nerdy topic. I know that may surprise you.
Oh, I thought so.
God. Yeah, it's... I think we spend a lot of this show talking about things that we are super into. We talk about Dungeons and Dragons, miniatures, video games, movies, Marvel Cinematic Universe, books, comic books, all these things that we really enjoy and really nerd out about, and that's kind of why we started the show initially. But we would be remiss if we didn't mention that there are some things that we don't know shit about.
Correct.
Right? So I thought it would be interesting if we talked about some of the things that we are maybe not such nerdy experts on. Things that maybe there was a gap in our, in our nerdy history, things that we never got into, maybe we just don't understand, things that just wasn't our cup of tea, maybe.
Okay.
Right? So I'll start off because I know you needed some time to think about it.
I got a couple, not as many as you.
I thought about it a lot today. One of the things, which I think is a big one, and having Joe from Mythic Markets on last week, we always talk about Pokemon cards, Magic cards, and I'll be the first to admit I never played any card game.
I played Magic. It was dope. It was fun.
I just never understood it, and I would, this is my time to play Magic was a long time ago before YouTube, right? Uh-huh. This may surprise some of you younger listeners, but watching people play it, because I would see it at comic shops and stuff. They have all the cards spread out in a certain way, and then they would turn a card sideways or something like that. And then they'd have these fat decks. And I'm like, I don't get it. Is it like War? Is it like poker?
Have you played? I would say
I've not played any card games other than casino games.
What about Hearthstone?
Nope.
Blizzard? No.
Nope.
I really don't have anything to compare it to. It's fun. It's definitely a nerdum where you. If you want to be good, you have to dig deep, and you have to buy a lot of fucking cards.
You got to buy that Black Lotus for $100,000 or whatever.
Yeah,
Joe sells
fucking
for.
Insane. Actually, not lying, I was considering starting again, and then I was looking at the prices. I'm like, nah, man, that's too fucking. I don't know if I want to sink my money into that. So I know I wonder if I still have my cards.
So from my understanding, though, you can buy just booster packs, right? And and they're a couple bucks a piece or whatever.
You're gonna get a small amount of cards. You're gonna have to get
how many's in a deck? About
fuck you. I think it's 20 cards. Fuck, forgive me. I haven't played since I was fucking 13.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I believe it can't be 20 cards.
20 cards doesn't seem like that much. I feel like they were a stack. Like 52 cards is in a deck of cards, right?
30. Our awesome Rick producer just told me 30 cards. And I believe you can only hold 7 at a time. And
in your hand.
Okay. So you have mana, which is your magic system.
Sure.
So you put down your mana cards. Certain characters like a beast or a creature or a fighter will cost an X amount of mana. And I think it was forest, water. There was a black one. There was different.
Soul.
Yeah. So it would cost an X amount of mana for you to bring out that character. So when you turn the cards, you tapped the mana. So you're using that magic to bring out that character.
Oh, so you bring out that character.
Then that character can attack the other person.
And so
or you can attack another monster of theirs.
Okay, so what's the story of Magic?
So
Are
it's
you
2 wizards.
Are you as a player? You're each a wizard.
So it's 2 wizards, and I don't remember their names. And this is like
Okay.
you have to get deeper into the lore.
Sure.
And they are summoning these creatures using mana to battle.
Okay.
So,
So each player in a game or
it's
a match,
it's always a duel.
it's always a duel, and in the duel you are assuming the identity of each wizard.
No one ever really does, but that's the story.
But
behind
that's
it.
kind of like that's the premise of the game. Like
Correct.
Pokemon, you're 2 trainers.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Pokemon just ripped off Magic.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean,
Then so you can attack either their creatures or the player, but some creatures will have like you cannot attack the player until you defeat that creature. So each
Interesting.
creature can have like special abilities.
and stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like it always seemed too big and too complex for me to, much like Warhammer did when I was younger, for me to ever get into. And it's just one of those things where like when we had Joe on for the first time, he talked about the Black Lotus card, and I was like, okay.
And I believe
Like I understand Charizard.
people are going to correct me, and I believe what was so special about it is you could change that card into any mana. So like if you're missing, so instead of waiting for you to get three forests or 4 waters, and you could only put them one at a time, you can kind of like build up quicker. So it was a real big game changer.
Game changing card. Cool. And another couple of card games briefly that I mentioned, Pokemon cards. I did have a small collection of them because I just liked Pokemon, but I never really learned to play. And Yu-Gi-Oh! I was too old and too cool when that came out.
I never learned those.
Yeah. But card games in general, I just never really appealed to me. And like now there's like video game versions of card games. Like one of the Kingdom Hearts sequels was like a deck building game. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? I don't want to play
If you
this.
want to get a very simple version, Hearthstone, you can download on your phone. It's by Blizzard. It's a really more.
Don't you spend a bunch of money on that?
You can.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to. You get cards when you win. You can, obviously spend money to get better cards.
Sure. Okay, cool. What's one for you? Something you don't know shit about.
Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey. That's a
I
good
don't
one.
fucking know shit about it.
That's not on my list, but that's a good one. Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand why people like it.
So I felt this way too because I know nothing about Downton Abbey. I don't know.
But people.
I don't
are
know
like
where the Abbey
fucking
is.
Hardcore.
I don't know what time period it takes place in. I don't know the plot of it. I don't know anything about it. But I was adamant. I'm like, I'm not going to get left out of it this time. So I started watching Bridgerton because I feel like that's the next Downton Abbey.
Okay. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It's on Netflix. It's okay.
See, it's like, it's okay. But I know the people that are like hard fucking core about it. Mm-hmm. Like, I think I tried watching one episode. I'm like, okay, so there's a bunch of people working in a house. Like, I guess there's drama. I don't know. I don't get it. I was like,
yeah, that's one of those things that just never really appealed to me. And, it's when I watch something, especially a period piece like that, where it's like old timey, like I want some like political intrigue and crazy shit to happen. And it just seemed to me from the way people described it, it's just a bunch of maids gossiping with each other. And I'm just like, I do not want to watch that.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
That's
Anyone who's listening, feel free to school me on it for why I'm fucking dead wrong. I just don't get it.
Yeah, and I think they made a movie finally, didn't they, to kind of wrap up the thing? I don't know. I heard about that, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Downton Abbey's a good one.
They pulled a Sex and the City thing, like the show's going decline. Got to bring out a movie to fucking.
Yeah, I tried watching Sex and the City. Like I've seen a few episodes, and I think I saw the first movie. I think, and that's another one. I just don't get it.
Okay, that's another second one. Sex and the City. I don't get it.
Yeah, there's a couple funny moments and stuff occasionally, but like they were so few and far between. I'm like, God, people fucking love this shit.
You just stayed because every now and then there was a titty. Right?
Yeah, every once in a while I stayed for the titties, but they soon became few and far between too. They were never the ones I wanted. I keep hitting my freaking microphone with my headphones.
So we're doing it more now?
Yeah, that sounds good for our audio listeners. I apologize. Speaking of British TV shows that I don't give a shit about or don't know about, Doctor Who is one of those ones that I constantly... People are like, oh, you don't like Doctor Who? What? Are you fucking crazy? That should be your favorite series. And first of all, fuck you. Because you obviously don't know me. But yeah, Doctor Who is just... This is not something that I've never tried to watch. Mm-hmm. I have tried. I watched all the Chris Eccleston ones.
That was the first remake guy?
The first remake guy, yep. Who was like the bad guy in The Leftovers, I think. I guess he wasn't really a bad guy. He
was it Gone in 60 Seconds, I think?
Misguided. Maybe, yeah. I think he was Gone in 60 Seconds. And then I watched, once it switched over to, what's his face? Purple Man.
David
Tennant. I watched some of that because everyone's like, oh, stay for David Tennant. He's the best. And I'm just like, dude, I watched it and it's so shitty. I just can't get into it.
I will say the first season was pretty bad. I pushed myself through. Not that I think he did a bad job, the first guy. But what made me stay is I thought the British girl was pretty cute. I was like, oh, I'll stay for her.
Rose or whatever her name was.
I did really like the David Tennant one. Although I will say I never finished it and I never gotten past it.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy his.
Yeah, I think the thing about Doctor Who for me, and I think it's just how I'm wired to enjoy things. And, you know, the main reason, like, I don't like a lot of these shitty movies that you make me watch because they are, you know, they're campy and they're like intentionally corny and low budget. And I feel like that's what Doctor Who is. And I hate that. I hate that so much.
What about Army of Darkness?
Army of Darkness, because it's a comedy.
Or Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2 is all right. But because they're comedies, like and because of the time period they came out, like you can tell that Sam Raimi, when he was making those movies, he was not trying to make like a cheapo looking movie. He was making the best movie he wanted to make the way he wanted to make it. The thing that bothers me the most are ones like the Trauma pictures, where they're like, oh, we're setting out to make an intentionally shitty looking movie. That's not what Sam Raimi did.
Yeah, I hear you.
He did the best he could, and some of the creature effects and stuff were awesome, you know, and but they didn't set out to make a shitty movie. He set out to make the best movie he wanted to make.
Trauma had some really fucking amazing special effects, though, man. Like, I mean, they're shitty, but they're also good at the same time.
Yeah, see, that's not true. They're just shitty, but you like them because they're shitty. They're endearing because they're shitty.
Yeah, I guess there's some... Yeah.
And that's the same thing with Doctor Who, is you know, the big bad guys of the entire series are trash cans that go at not even a brisk walking speed. And apparently those are the most dangerous things in the galaxy. The Daleks.
Someone's going to
Daleks. Exterminate. See, I get it. Like, but I just don't understand the appeal.
They're the really pissed off R2-D2. They're the incels of R2-D2.
Yeah.
Is what they are.
Yeah, but even R2-D2 had the little thing that popped out and like electrocuted people.
That's what he...
Yeah. But yeah, I just don't get it. Like and I think another thing that bothers me is it's really, really soft sci-fi. And, you know, we had that whole episode where we talked about hard and soft magic systems. And the same thing is true for sci-fi. So in the early sci-fi days, like in the 40s and 50s, when there was like, you know, rocket men going to space, Flash Gordon and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like it was, people had no idea what the fuck space was about. So they're just like, yeah, you know, you go up there on a space chariot.
Yeah, you get to the moon that's really made out of cheese.
Yeah, yeah. They're fucking high on acid and making shit up. And that feels like when Doctor Who first started, which was in that era, it made sense. Yeah. Like, oh, he's the doctor. He travels around in this phone booth and, you know, he fucking goes on space-time adventures. Okay, fine.
You know, he was supposed to be a villain in the beginning.
Oh, really?
Would have turned out. Maybe you would have liked that one better.
Yeah, maybe. Would have been interesting. I mean, think about that. Time Lord guy who's a bad guy.
Yeah.
That'd be hard to beat. But, you know, that's what's interesting about it is like nothing is ever explained. He has this freaking sonic screwdriver that very rarely has anything to do with sound. It's just the screwdriver of plot device.
Yes.
And much like Wonder Woman's lasso of plot device. And nothing is ever explained. Like, it's just like, oh, this is how it is. How dumb, you know, you're so close-minded, you dumb earthling, for not understanding. I'm like, that's stupid. This is the stupidest show. So that's a big one. I know I ranted a little while on that one, but I just do not understand Doctor Who. What's another one for you?
Highlander.
Highlander.
No,
huh?
not the movies.
There can be only one.
Not that one. There's
the show.
The show. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't remember.
You can time travel or something. It's like you go back and she falls in love with some dude. So
yeah, I don't know if I ever watched the show. I watched several of the movies with Christopher Lambert.
Well, those are
different. Sean Connery.
No. There's another show where it has nothing to do with being the only one.
What are you talking about?
There's another. Oh, let me see if I can.
You're talking about Outlander?
Is it Outlander?
The one where she travels back in time
that
and fucks
one.
the hot Scottish guy?
That one.
Outlander.
Sorry, I don't get it.
I was like, well, there was a Highlander show.
Oh no, that show was actually pretty good. I remember. No,
we're not talking about sword fights, chopping their heads off.
No, that
absorbing
one.
their power.
No, that's awesome.
Outlander.
Outlander.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, Outlander's a weird one. I definitely watched the first 2 seasons, I think it was. But then, spoiler alert for Outlander, season 4 just came out on Netflix. It's weird how Netflix does that, where they only have certain seasons. They don't have all of it. But she eventually goes back to her time. But then he comes back to her time too somehow. And then they're traveling back and forth between times. And I'm like, this is stupid now. The first 2 seasons I thought was interesting, where she gets sent back into Scottish independence time. And, she's having to live through history, and they think she's a witch because she knows 1940s medicine, which again is oh, we'll just chop it off. That was their answer for everything back then.
Or you bleed them out. You bleed them out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bad blood.
So, yeah, I thought it was cool for the first couple seasons, but then it got so weird. I'm just I don't give a shit now. Now she's back with back in her time, and
how do you explain everything to that guy?
Yeah,
nothing would make sense to him.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
All. It's like, how's that thing moving without any horses in front of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are they always on that little plastic thing? You wouldn't even know what plastic is. What's that device in their hand?
Oh well, no, she was from 1950 or 1942.
I don't know.
So they didn't have cell phones.
What's syphilis? I don't know.
They still had syphilis.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah. But back in his time, they probably thought it was just demons in your dick.
Probably. That's not what it is?
Nope.
Oh, shit.
Feels like it. No, yeah, I think a big part of it is, I think it's designed for a female audience. Hot, hunky Scottish guy, and hey, the guy's a handsome fella. He is.
So I have,
but she's a very strong female character who bosses around all these crude men and stuff, and she, and then it's a steamy love story too. So I think that's the appeal for it.
I don't know.
If you're not in for that, then
I will say all the people that told me to watch it are, lady friends of mine. And they're trying, let's watch it. Let's watch it. I'm like, what's it about? Oh, this woman time travels, falls in love. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't.
Yeah. She's hot though, the main lady.
Oh, you should start off with that.
Yeah.
You should have led with that.
First episode, the guy's going down on her. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm 10 minutes into this show.
Nice.
Yeah, she's getting her coochie munched in a fucking castle. Something
If anything, that's going to be the caption of the show.
Yeah, YouTube's just going to... Guys, you can't put that in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Coochie munched in a castle? Jesus Christ. My next one that I don't know anything about, and this I think the more I get into tabletop gaming and stuff, I'm starting to understand more of what it might be. And now I will fully admit that I am new to Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer. I'm it's not like I've been playing since I was a kid. I never knew anyone who played it. I knew it was out there. I just didn't know anything about it. So I've only been playing Dungeons and Dragons for maybe 3 years or something like that. And I have not played Warhammer yet. I've just been painting their models. Though I intend to change that very soon. But so I was very new to the idea of role-playing games, aside from things like Pokemon and Final Fantasy and things like that. But LARPing is one of these things that I just even the more I know about Dungeons and Dragons, the more I don't understand LARPing.
So, I mean,
we have a friend of the show, Fabian. She LARPs.
Yeah, I mean, I have a weird. So I kind of felt the same way about Dungeons and Dragons before I played. I'm like,
sure.
I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm that kind of nerd. I feel like that's an extra level.
I feel like that's some neckbeard shit.
Yeah, and then I played it. I'm like, holy shit, this is a lot of fucking fun.
Mm-hmm.
Completely changed my mind in the first session. kind of scared that that's gonna be the thing if I ever LARP.
Yeah. And I can't commit that. Like, I paint so many minis. That's like social suicide enough. You know, I'm just like, oh, check out this girl I like. Let me show her my new Outrider squadron that I just finished. Oh, maybe but then again, maybe she plays Necrons. I don't want to turn her off. Yeah.
First, I have a gut feeling there's some hot girls that paint minis.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some out there. I just haven't found it yet. It's hard finding them. They're always inside.
Yeah.
In the cave, the mini caves. But yeah, I think I understand. First of all, I understand the appeal of like dressing up and stuff, because even though I I have cosplayed a couple times, but
sometimes by accident.
Sometimes by accident, I just look like Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover.
That was hilarious. I don't know, was it Comic-Con? It was one of the cons.
Yeah.
Where people were consistently coming out to take pictures, and Cody, without fucking pausing, didn't even ask why. He would just pose.
Yeah, sure, man. Go on.
Take a picture, and then they would leave.
Okay, count of 3. Let's say Hangover. Yeah. Yeah, it's but LARPing to me, so live action role playing, to me it seems like they're acting out something like Dungeons and Dragons, right?
That's what I'm guessing.
But what I don't understand about it is there a core rule set that they all follow?
I'm sure there has to be.
Yeah, but what is it? Like,
I don't know.
Is there a LARPing book, LARPing manual? Are they using Dungeons and Dragons 5e? Probably not.
I don't know.
Because I mean, how would you do the?
I'm assuming they're all house rules, right? Since there's not like a handbook, or is there a handbook?
I don't know. See, that's the thing that I don't understand is like, how do they agree upon it? And I know because I've seen some little things on YouTube, like if they're casting a spell, they'll have like little beanbag balls, kind of like the flags they throw in football for like offsides and stuff, but they're magic. They're like fireball. But what I don't understand is
how far is the spread?
How far is the spread, and like not
how much damage?
Not to be hurtful, but these probably aren't the most athletic people. Like, do you have to necessarily hit the person with the beanbag?
Well, I'm wondering if it's like Dungeons and Dragons. Like, all right, well, there's an area, of
effect.
So it's like maybe it cones out or it's a square.
Yeah, very interesting.
How do you know if you hit? Does the bag have to hit them?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Not super coordinated. Nerdy folk might not be able to hit people, and is that a disadvantage?
That's a really great point.
And then when you go to like weapon fighting with swords, obviously they're using like foam and stuff like that. But like, how many hit points do you have, and like, what do you count as a hit?
Yeah,
because I feel like most of the time you can just go in there and really fucking, beat the shit out of him with a foam sword, and like then he's dead. So I'd be interested to learn more. I don't think I'll ever do it because first of all, I can't afford another hobby. Games Workshop is bleeding me dry. And so is Wizards of the Coast.
I can't do it because I can't make cosplays, man. And you can't go in there you can't go in there like not
right. You can't go in there with cargo shorts and a fucking beanie. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't think it's something I'd like to know more about, just from a procedural standpoint. Like again, like what are the rules? How do you determine the rules, and like how does it work? Because I see there's like tents and stuff where people are like hanging out together afterwards and having Kool-Aid and orange slices, after after a soccer game.
Watermelon.
Go to Pizza Hut afterwards. Yeah, with the whole team, the whole clan. Yeah, interesting stuff. What's another one for you? You have another one?
Furries. I don't get it.
What's the get, Christian? You dress up like animals and fuck each other.
I don't get it.
I mean,
no, but like even I don't. Is it always have to do with fucking?
Yeah, pretty much, probably. I mean,
you see them.
They call it yiffing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's where you dress up like like the furries and you fuck each other.
Well, I'm not kink shaming. I'm more wondering like.
I mean, I am.
Like going out and being dressed. Like that. I don't get the appeal.
It's an interesting like section of society, because it's one of those things where, to me at least, and this is me as an outsider, it seems like there's a lot of somewhat socially awkward people who kind of band together because of their love of this one particular thing, in this case dressing up like furry animals. And I think a part of it probably has to do with like wearing the mask lets them be more themselves, because now they're shy and they're hiding behind this mask. But then you see the people who wear the fucking tails when they're at Walmart. And
Yeah,
shit like
I
that,
guess
you know?
those are the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, not the whole
like
fucking
the,
part.
like the 24/7
Like,
furries.
the ears.
Like
know?
I can get down on a weekend, you know what I mean? You know, dress up like a tiger and, you know, blow some dude. But
So it's from the tail end.
yeah,
It's
it's always when you got to lift the tail. But yeah, it just, it's weird to me because you're bringing more attention to yourself, and let's face it, negative attention to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can over time get people to understand, you know, about, you know, gay people, bisexual people, transsexual people, but furries is a tough pill to swallow.
Well, it's also like, hey, what you're doing at home, that's on
yeah,
you.
that's another thing.
You bring it outside. Don't involve me in it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying.
Yeah, I don't want to have to think about where that tail attaches.
Yeah.
You know, it's always a butt plug.
Always.
Always. Has to be. Where else are you going to put it? Yeah, it's interesting. And one thing that's kind of crazy about furries too is there's no like defined like lore background for it. It's something that kind of manifested. You know what I mean? Which is an interesting thing to think about.
You know, I'll lump another one into this group. Was it bronies? Is that what they're called?
Oh yeah, the ones who love My Little Pony.
Yeah, but men
Who love it, like hardcore for
I
some
don't get
reason.
it.
I've never watched it.
I don't get it. It seems like there's a gross connection there.
Yeah,
Like-
something unsettling is
Yeah,
happening.
I don't know what it is, but my gut tells me.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
Some of there's like, tastes like battery acid. I
yeah.
don't
No, something's
weird.
There's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah, and who knows? Like I said, I've never watched My Little Pony, the new one, or was there an original show, or was it
Yeah.
just toys?
No, there was a show.
Okay, I've never watched any of it. Obviously, look at me. I guess like I do look like a brony, probably.
Maybe I don't know
Yeah,
what they look
who
like.
knows?
I just know that they exist.
Probably looks like me. Just big guys with beards.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't really understand it, but at least there's like a show. Like there are crazy fans of any kind of show, right? You know, there's crazy Law and Order fans out there. There's crazy Doctor Who fans. Crazy everything.
I wouldn't say there's crazy Law and Order fans, but I feel like there are.
They're called serial killers.
Paranoid ass people
Yeah.
that are afraid that everyone's gonna rape them.
I know several people who Law and Order. My friend Katie, who's a very good friend of mine, like rewatches it all the time, watches it religiously.
I can't watch I love the show, but I can't watch too many because after it's like I don't want to go outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might leave a trace of semen somewhere, and then I'm attached to a murder
I
scene.
mean, I always do.
Yeah,
It's just whether they find it or not. But with going back to furries, there's no show where that happened. I mean, some of our children's shows had people dressed up as animals, like Barney the dinosaur or whatever. But like, there's no like furry guidebook. You know what I mean?
no.
Not
Didn't
that
Netflix just drop something with animals? I think it was like Beast something.
Beast Man.
No,
I don't know.
Beast something. I don't know.
Beast
It looked
of the
like
Southern
It
Wild.
looked like they were
It's not about
appealing
animals.
to
Furries. Huh?
furries.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. If you're a furry, please don't reach out. I'm just
They're
kidding.
definitely gonna be the 100 episode.
Yeah.
Or the $50 episode. Like now we gotta talk about it all day.
Fuck. Man, now we got
Why
just dress up.
Why furries are the best?
I worked with a furry
Like
at Hollywood Video.
they would go to work dressed full on.
No, we just knew about it because he would tell us about it all the time. He dressed up as a blue wolf, I believe it was.
It's always
or
a blue
fox
wolf.
or something.
It's
like
always
that.
a blue canine.
Yeah. He asked Anthony out on a date,
Nice.
which that was funny. I still bring that up to Anthony. Like, so how's your date with so and so? But yeah, he was all about it. Him and his boyfriend would dress up as animals and just bang the shit out of each other. Don't get it. To each their own.
Thumbs up.
Here's an interesting one. It's not super nerdy, but I felt like I had to bring it up because it's kind of one of the things that kind of inspired this episode for me. So I feel like I missed out. Like I feel like there's this whole gap in my knowledge about MTV.
Okay.
It's because everyone's like, oh, MTV, it's
It
got
used to be
IRL. What's it? No, not IRL. Total TRL.
what?
Total Request Live.
Oh,
Where the music videos and stuff, and then Big Brother was on there, right? Like
was it?
Some of like the reality shows started on there.
No, yeah. Well, they started reality TV. What was it? Fuck. A bunch of people living in an apartment. And I can't remember the name.
Big
of
Brother,
it. No, it's a different one.
pretty sure it's Big
Real World. Was it
Real World. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They started that shit.
They started it. And like, and I never watched MTV.
Mm-hmm.
I never watched any of the Real Worlds, the Big Brothers, the Jersey Shores, any of that reality TV stuff. And like, I never knew who Carson Daly was until he started showing up in other stuff.
Uh-huh.
You know, and it's just like I don't.
Chris Hardwick, I think, started on MTV too.
Yeah, I think he was on some. I forget what it was called, but he was on some show on there, some dating show or something like that. I don't know any of the VJs. Like I didn't really watch that much Beavis and Butthead because it was on there. I knew it was out, but that was one of those things. Like I feel like.
So you didn't watch Eon Flux?
I didn't. Not until much later. I watched it later when I worked at Hollywood Video. When I was able to rent it. But yeah, I didn't like I had this huge gap in my knowledge. I don't know anything that happened on MTV.
Damn.
I just never
How'd you watch music videos?
I didn't watch music videos. Oh. All the music I like doesn't have music videos. It's like, oh, AC/DC doesn't have a music video.
Sure they do.
They're just
Thunderstruck.
They're just playing it at a concert. Yeah. I mean, I saw some of that stuff later, but I never watched it. Also,
Queen had music videos.
A lot of that was on VH1.
David Bowie.
Yeah, I don't watch that stuff. I don't see there's very few music videos I can think of like, oh yeah, and they're all Michael Jackson. Okay. Michael Jackson had the best ones.
You know, watch Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Okay. Yeah, I'll watch
that shit is fucking crazy.
I bet.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, there's some strange ones out there. But yeah, I watched some VH1 because I really liked the behind the music, because I liked learning about the history of bands and stuff like that. But yeah, MTV, man, I just feel like
that was the one that did the little bubbles, right? Bloop, 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 bloop. Where they bring out little information.
That was I Love the 80s. And I Love the 90s.
Okay.
And all the subsequent I Love the things. I hate the 2000s. But yeah, I feel like I missed out on that one. You have another one, last one for us?
Oh, I feel like I did, and I can't remember now. But I like some of the stuff you put.
Yeah. So
you're totally wrong on StarCraft.
Yeah, StarCraft. Here's an interesting factoid about StarCraft. You want to hear this one, Christian?
Yes.
So back when Warhammer was first coming out, they decided that these new computer games were going to be a big thing, and they wanted to make a computer game of Warhammer 40K. So they teamed up with Blizzard to make a game based off of their tabletop game. There was some sort of falling out. They couldn't reach an agreement. So they separated ways, not very amicably. And then shortly after, Blizzard came out with StarCraft, which, if you look at all the species in StarCraft, they're based off of Warhammers.
Really?
Yeah. So
there's the Zerg.
The Zerg are, I don't know the names of all the things, but
they're bugs.
Okay, so those are the Tyranids in Warhammer.
Okay.
Then there's the Space Marines, or whatever they're called in. What are they called in Tyrion? So the big bulky, like Marine dudes are obviously the Space Marines. Then there's the Tau, which are robotic characters.
The Protoss.
Protoss, yeah. So they have big.
Well,
Gundam
those are a little weird because they are aliens, but
oh, that's right. But they have big robots. They use a lot of mechs and stuff.
Kinda. They're more spiritual.
Okay.
Like they have like blades that'll come out, and it's like it's energy.
Okay. I don't know enough about StarCraft to go any further.
StarCraft,
but there's also like elf based ones. You know, there's the Eldars and stuff like that.
Not on StarCraft. Nope.
Well, they're aliens.
They might be,
but they're like elf looking.
They might have crossed that with the robot with the Protoss. So it might be like an elf-like and robotic.
And then there was also Warhammer Fantasy before Age of Sigmar, which is fantasy based, and then there's Warcraft.
Warcraft is also fucking amazing.
Which, I mean, Warcraft, you can't blame it too much on it stealing it, because I mean,
Warcraft was first.
They have orcs, they have elves, they have dwarves, they have all the classic fantasy species, but it was based off of Warhammer. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, StarCraft, real-time strategy games in general, I just don't give a shit about.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them, but I played them a lot growing up, but I can never get to the point where like I could compete. Like every time I would play with someone, I would get fucking destroyed. I didn't know how to do the right ratio of peons collecting stuff to like making fighters and when to move on to another class, I would always get destroyed. But if I played with a group of people, like if it was like 4 versus 4, usually I would do all right.
You could do okay. Yeah. Yeah, that was just one thing I never played. Another one, real quick too, is JRPGs. Like things like Dragon Quest. What's the other one? Fire Emblem. Final Fantasy, for that matter. I never really played that many Final Fantasy. I played Final Fantasy adjacent stuff.
Did you beat 7?
No. Never,
so good.
Never did.
The new one?
Yep.
Oh, so good.
I still might go back in that. I just got loaded up on the PS5. I've been lazy about that. But yeah, the only real one I got into was like I loved Kingdom Hearts, the first 2. But they didn't play like those. They weren't turn based, and you know, it was more fun, more action. And then Pokemon, of course, which is a turn based JRPG. It's just for some reason the content of it it grabbed me. You know, it was something more. But those are some of the ones that we don't know shit about. Let us know in the comments or on Instagram or Twitter, Facebook. What are some of the nerdy things that you just like never got into, never understood? And are you thinking about getting into them now? Is it something, you know, is it too late for us in our 30s to learn new stuff? Obviously not. You know, I picked up a new skill here in last year, and you know, we've been playing more and more Dungeons and Dragons. It's one of those things where I think, you know, it's never too late to try something new, but let us know some of the things you don't know shit about.
Unless it's furry stuff, then it's too late to try that shit.
Yeah. Imagine being a middle-aged guy trying to like, so what's the deal with furries? Where do I get one of these costumes and who do I find who wants to fuck in it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Dry cleaning bills must be horrendous.
Oh, can you imagine being the dry cleaner? It's like, again?
Jesus Christ. You know how hard it is to clean out matted down fur?
Actually, you know, maybe specializing in it where you judgment-free zone might be some good money.
Yeah, we'll get semen out of anything. That's your tagline for your cleaners. Exactly. All right. Well, yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Also, make sure to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. You can also check out nerdswithfriendspodcast.com for all of our info. Twitter, Instagram, Facebookins, all that good stuff. And, you know, we like to hear from you guys. And we look forward to seeing some of you guys in the Discord server once we get that up and running through the Patreon. So as soon as we start getting people signing up, we will create it and we can start chatting.
Tell us all your gross, nerdy confessions.
Save them. Save them. No, we love hearing from you guys, and we appreciate you guys supporting the show. Christian, appreciate you coming on and sharing some of the things you don't know shit about.
Or don't want to know shit about.
Exactly. That's true too. And to all the nerds out there, remember, you're not alone. You're with friends. This is Nerds with Friends. Thank you and good night. New outro.